Welcome to Guided Notes with Mr. Weeb. Today we are representing the addition of fractions. The goal is for you to be able to say, I can use models to show how to add fractions even when the denominators are different. Make sure you've got your pencil ready. If you're in a busy or loud place, you've got your earbuds in, and let's get started. Our first page says, adding fractions with a grid. Now, when I'm adding 2/3 and 1/5, I can't simply add the numerators anymore. It won't work. So I want to show you how you can use a grid to help you envision what this actually looks like. When I choose how to divide up my grid, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those thirds and I'm going to divide one side up into thirds. So hopefully you can see that this shape has thirds right here. I'm going to go ahead and label these as thirds. This is 1/3 of the shape, this is 1/3 of the shape, and this is 1/3 of the shape. Then I take the numerator of the other term and I'm going to divide it into 5 parts. So I hope you can see that this is 1/5, this is 1/5, that's 1/5, also 1/5, and finally a 5/5. So this is 5/5, and this is 3/3. All right. Next, I'm going to show you what 2/3 looks like. So we're going to fill in 2/3. That is 2/3 of the shape, because 2 out of a possible 3 pieces are filled in, right? This is 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Okay, next we are adding a 5th. So let's add in 1/5 here. 1/5 looks like this, because when we look at the shape this way, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possible pieces, and this would be 1/5. So that is 1/5. And what we have here is we just need to fill in all of this. We just need to combine all of the dots that we put in already. So let's go ahead and do that. We have 2/3 and 1/5. Now we're going to put them in a different way just so that they can fill that up. And now we can count them all together. Out of a total 15 squares, how many are full? I think we can see that there are 13 out of 15 of those squares full. Let's do another addition example here where we're adding fractions with a grid. So again, we have 2/3. Let's fill in 2/3 of this grid. There's 1/3. There are 2/3. Next, let's fill in 3/5 of the next grid. So here's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. Let's write these down underneath as well. So we have 2/3 here. We're adding 3/5 over here. And let's see what we get. The reason why we have 2 grids over here is because I think you'll find that we don't have enough room in one of these grids. So again, we're going to be taking all of these 10 blue circles, and let's fill them in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's continue filling it up with red circles. We only have 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we have a mixed number, right? Now we have 1 and 4/15. You could say it, you could put this in an improper fraction as well. You could say that altogether we've got 15, 16, 17, 18, 19/15. So that's the same thing as saying 19/15. But the best way, the most correct way to say it is like this, in the mixed number. Let's look at another one where we have adding fractions with fraction strips. Now, my favorite version of this is in mathsbot.com under the manipulatives. So I'll show you just how to get there. You would go to mathsbot.com, and then you can go to manipulatives, which is right up here. And when you click on it, you should be able to find something called the math wall, or the fraction wall. And it looks like this right over here. It's the fraction wall. And you'll click on that, and it'll bring you to something like this. I would recommend going up to 12 rather than just 8. The denominator should be 12. And then you can start playing around with it. And it works really well. I prefer to stack mine than to have a big wall so that we can look at what this looks like. Okay, here is my unit. That's my one whole. And what we want to do is we want to add 1/3 plus 1/4. And you can play around and you can see, okay, well, what if 1/4 and 1/4? Oh, that doesn't work at all. So let's clean that up and move that back. You can play around with it. I wonder if the tenths, if they'll all line up. I wonder if we can just multiply that and see if that works out. And it doesn't quite. You can see that it is just a little bit too big. So let's tidy that up again, stack them, and let's look at what it looks like when you stack up the 12ths next to it. So we'll put the 12ths right there and see 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4, 5, 6, 7 12ths. Okay, it looks like we have 1/3 plus 1/4 equals 7 12ths, according to our fraction strips. Next, we'll look at another fraction strips example, and we'll just bring our browser window with us. Okay, and let's see if we can tackle this 2/3 plus 3/4 issue. Okay, let's see us do this. 2/3 could look like this. Here's 1/3, 2/3, and let's go 3/4. 1, 2, 3. There's 3/4. Well, I think you can see that if we put this whole over top of it, you can see it is too big. It's bigger than one whole if we look at it. So let's add some 12ths to it and see if we can figure out how much more. Okay, so there's a 12th, and we'll just make copies until we get right to the end. There we go. How many 12ths was that? Well, it looks like we have 1. If we look at this line, goes down here, all of these 12ths, that's 12 12ths, right? Because 12 12ths is 1. So that's 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 12ths. So it looks like we have 1 and 5 12ths. Another way you could have done it is just count how many 12ths you have altogether. So you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 12ths. So it's the same thing to say 17 12ths, but this, the mixed number, is the better answer. All right, let's go to the next one, where it says adding fractions with what you know about numbers. Our example is 4/5 plus 1/2. I'm thinking, what number do I know that can easily be divided into fifths and easily be divided in half? The number that comes to mind is 10. I can think that 1/5 of 10, right? 1/5 of 10 is 2, right? 10 divided by 2, or 10 divided by 5 is 2, right? And that means, so 4/5 of 10 would be 4 of these units, right? 4 2s, which is 8. Is 8. Next, let's have a look at the half. Half of 10 is 5, right? 10 divided by 2, that's 5. Okay, so now we have 4/5 of 10 and 1/2 of 10. So let's add those together. 4/5 of 10 plus 1/2 of 10 equals 13. And since we're thinking of in terms of the whole being 10, really 1/2 or 4/5 plus 1/2 is going to give us 13/10. It has to be tenths because we're thinking of the whole as 10 equal pieces. And of course, normally we don't like to leave it with an improper fraction. We'd like to change that to 1 3/10 because 10/10 is a 1. So if we take 10 away from those 13, then we're left with 3/10. So 1 3/10. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.